we've been doing some work recently to apply the Nexus to an educational science lab environment, where we believe it can help students by making scientific data, such as from sensors, available in a mode and presentational form that best suits each individual learner. So for some, the best presentation of data might be tables of numbers. For some it might be visualization. For others it might be sonification or haptic feedback. By using the Nexus to make the data available in a machine processable way, we can make that information available in a personalized way that best suits each individual learner. And I have here a little demo that I can show some of the recent work that we've been doing and how it would be used for scientific data. So I have here two sensors, a electrical conductivity sensor, which is sitting in some salt water and to provide some conductivity, a pH sensor, which is in tap water, and some cola to provide an acidic solution. And then the sensors are connected out to these boards that provide USB connection to the laptop here, which is running the Nexus. And then on screen, I have some information that I can use to show some of the recent technical work that we have been doing. The top part of the screen shows a visualization of the internal state of the Nexus. So not a presentation of the sensor data, but rather a presentation of the internal state of the Nexus. And then down below we have a WebSocket connection that is listening to the scientific data as it's streaming into the Nexus. And in the top part, we have the visualization, and the other recent technical work that we've been doing is to provide dynamic configuration of the Nexus. So the Nexus can now adapt to the presence or absence of components within it. So I have this currently configured with a single component here called the Science Lab collector, which this connection here is listening to, and at the moment it's currently empty because there are no sensors connected. And together with this component, I have some rules set up that say, if I connect a pH sensor or an electrical conductivity sensor to the Nexus, then in addition to that component that represents the sensor, create another component that connects the sensor to the collector component and sends the data to the collector, where it can be picked up by the presentations and visualizations. And let me show you that working now. So if I plug in the pH sensor, first of all, by this USB, we'll see two things appear on the screen. The first is a component that represents the sensor data, and then the second, as I mentioned, is this component that connects the two and relays or sends the data from the pH sensor to the collector. And then I can also expand in our visualization here. I can expand in this part of the display to show the sensor values. So we see the sensor value coming in here and then being sent to the collector. And then down below in this stream here, we can see the data coming out of the Nexus over WebSocket. And then likewise, if I plug in the conductivity sensor, we will see, in addition, if I expand this one, we now have the conductivity sensor being added and the related component for relaying the data. So now we have both the pH sensor and the conductivity value in the collector, and in the presentation down below here, we can see the data for both being streamed. And then if I move the pH sensor over to the cola, we'll see the pH value, going down because it's now in an acid. And then what I can do is if I unplug, so let me unplug the pH sensor first, we'll see the pH sensor component was removed together with the component that relays the values. So now we're just down to the conductivity value, the pH value is now disconnected. And then if I unplug the conductivity sensor, we're back to where we started with just the collector and no other components. And then, of course, if I plug back in again, it comes back up. So in this way, we can now react to the addition or removal of sensors.